May the peace and the joy of the Infinite Father be upon you all, and may His light shine down upon you, around you, and within you. This is our blessing at the beginning of each communication. We are 12 entities who have lived in the earth planes U. We have advanced into the God-made heavenly realms, and we speak from the celestial level. One day, you too will be with us. How soon is your choice? Let us begin with a story. There was a mighty king who owned great storehouses of gold and jewels. His lands stretched in all directions as far as the eye could see and beyond. In his home he had many children. Some of these children became ill content with what they had in their father's home. To their way of thinking, their position in the presence of their father was not as secure as they felt it must be. In this father's wisdom, he knew the day would come when these children he loved so dearly would choose to leave the love, the peace, and the order of his home. In advance of that day, he called together his best gardeners and herdsmen and sent them out to the mountaintops and the high grounds to fit those places with the best that he had. In time, the day did arrive. On that day, this loving father walked his children to the gate at the end of the walled garden. He opened the gate wide, and he said to these children that he loved dearly, "All that you see and beyond I own. Take what portion of that you wish, and make of that portion what you will. But be wise, my children. Keep only to the mountaintops and the high grounds, where the sunlight of the day shines the full day. Those of you who are wise will not enter into the valleys where the sun never touches. For if you do, you shall be lost, and you will not be able to find your way back. You will be lost until I send my steward with lighted torch to fetch you back to those mountaintops and high ground." With this, he gave his children his love and his blessings, and they left the peace and the order of their father's home. In time, all that the father had said to them came to pass. These children of ill content became lost in those darkened valleys. They had only one hope to cling to, and that was the departing words of their beloved father. "You will be lost, my children, until I send my steward with lighted torch to fetch you back." And the light returned to illuminate the darkened consciousness of mankind. Mankind has entered into the valley of darkness. It is time when he must resurrect himself into the light. In the center, you have the divine presence. God the Father is in the center of the light of spirituality. To his right is the Christ, the pouring out of love, and the strength or the graces to exercise that love in one's everyday life. To the other side is the Spirit, or the Holy Spirit, that begins to raise you up back to the Father and to the light as you use this love towards others. How may man begin this process back to the light? He must first begin to realize the relationship between the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual. One such way of doing this is by utilizing the chakra systems. Many of you have been taught that the chakra systems are centers of energy located within the body, but this is only a small portion of the true power and purposes of the chakras. The real power, the real purpose of the chakras lies in this. They are 7 psychological levels or planes of consciousness, concern, and action. The first center, located at the base of the spine, deals with self-preservation, the preservation of life. This can be likened to a devouring esophagus that takes in a lower form of energy, converts it or changes it to a higher and purer form of energy for the purpose of sustaining a higher life force. Some picture this as the coiled serpent that is capable of shedding its skin and becoming anew. This is the seat of the spiritual fire which can be rekindled for purification. At this level of consciousness, man has the desire and the will to live, to preserve life. The second chakra lies in the area of the reproductive organs. This is the urge to procreate. This is the reproductive aspects of man. This is the reestablishment of self in the future, the living memorial. This is also the area where a very vague and dim remembrance of one's past abilities exists. The ability to create from self something living. Now the third chakra, located in the area of the navel or the solar plexus, deals with the aggression or the aggressiveness of man. The hate, the anger, the fight, the hunter, the warrior. This is the center where man desires material possessions. This is where man desires to possess and rule over others, to control others. But this is also the level where man may, if he chooses, begin to master self so that he can gain a higher level of awareness. These 3 chakras are often referred to as the animal chakras or the instinctual chakras. Now we move to the 4th chakra, the heart chakra, located in the chest or area of the heart. This is the level of transformation and resurrection. Man moves from animal activity into the realm of proper human and spiritual action. This is when the heart opens up to manifest compassion, concern, and caring for others. This is the seat of transcendence, the Christ consciousness, the resurrected Christ, spiritual man resurrected from the ashes of animal man. This is often symbolized by the phoenix, who is consumed by the spiritual fires and then begins to resurrect himself into a more glorious and beautiful creation. The next chakra is the chakra of the throat. This is the power of the Christ consciousness. This is the first power, the first action, the power of the word. When the heart chakra opens and compassion fills the individual, he begins to speak of this love for others, the caring for others, the touching in with others. This is where he begins to exist with man or his fellow man in a cooperative venture of growth back to the Godhead. The heart chakra is the chakra where one desires their original godhood. The throat chakra is the first action of that desire. There are two other chakras which we will not cover, because man must begin this process back to his Creator. And those chakras that we have covered are those that can lead to greatest growth when proper control or discipline of self is exercised. Regardless of what level, each level has a God-producing power in it if man chooses to use that. Your world is not the best place to live. Many of you who are older remember a time when the countryside was green and lush, where the air was sweet and the water was as clear as crystal. You have a responsibility not only to yourself, but to your children and your children's children to provide that same beautiful garden for their future. It is never too late for man to resurrect himself from materialism into spiritualism. But there is only so much time. We beg you, we plead with you, begin the quest for your Godhead. Your world is in the condition it is today because of the attitudes that its people hold. One cannot grow only with himself, but man grows only when he shares and communicates and serves others. We are now ready for questions.